Welcome, ladies and gents. We don't want half speed. We want normal speed, and we have Arena. And we have two Clown Legion players. If you've paid attention to my YouTube channel over the years, you have probably seen Dark Noob, but you have most definitely seen RMKU recently. Dark Noob was kind of on the wrong end of some pretty crazy games against John Slow. I think the Legend of John Slow video back in 2018 or 2019, John Slow was playing Dark Noob. But he's still around today, and then RMKU is kind of a new face, even though he's been around for years, but more so in my content. And RMKU is known for the YOLO-ness on Arena, a lot more so than some of the other Clown Legion players nowadays. Like, if you're familiar with this scene and you're familiar with my content, someone like John Slow, he tends to go pretty crazy still in Arena, which is super entertaining. But then you have some of his teammates like Draken or like Madri or whatever. Those guys are just all meta, like Cav and Boom. And it's strong, don't get me wrong, but it's not really what gets me out of bed in the morning. There's two things that get me out of bed in the morning. A really crazy, clowny Arena game and coffee. That's pretty much it. It's the only reason I exist. At least that's what it feels like. It's at 8 a.m. And now I'm going to have people that are like, oh, boo-hoo. You wake up at 8 a.m.? Oh, what a horrible life you live. I think I'm actually going to lose some fans over that comment because I know that a lot of you guys probably wake up much earlier than that. I remember those days, man. I remember those days. Hey, in my defense, I have woken up at like 6 to cast Age of Empires before. That's tricky. But anyways, let's talk about the Civ matchup here, okay? Because if this was a tier list video for Arena, Malay would be very high up on that tier list, but Italians would not, okay? Malay are easy top 5 on Arena. I don't think there's any doubts. If you doubt my game knowledge, go to like Viper's tier list on Arena if he has one. Malay's top 5, easy. Maybe even number 1. I think it's probably like number 2 or 3-ish. And the reason for that is how they play out with the meta, okay? Malay advance 66 or 60% faster to the next age, and people develop this build order where you go fast feudal age, get your eco upgrades, and then go fast castle age behind it, and you can end up in the castle age around the same time as the opponent, but you have all your eco upgrades, and you end up, in the end, having additional villagers because your town center spends less time researching the next age. So think about it. It takes like 2 minutes to advance to the next age. I think it's 1.5 minutes, right? Yeah, 1.5 minutes to advance to the next age. If it's faster for you, then you get back to creating villagers a little bit faster. So what I'm trying to get at here is Malay are really, really strong on Arena. And it's strong because you can't do anything about it. They have stone walls. So it's not like an open map where you can try and contest for map control or fight them or kill them. You're just kind of like, well, this is my life now. I guess I just have to accept that they're ahead in this way. So what you'd probably want to do, hello baskets, what you'd probably want to do is you probably want to be aggressive. And so let's talk about the Italians now. So the Italians, I think, are underrated on Arena, but I think they're underrated on non-water maps in general. A lot of people see them as good on islands, and then they forget some of the other bonuses with Italians. It's cheaper for them to go up to each age, which is very beneficial in a lot of situations. They're very good archer civ, but they're also fairly flexible in that they can make condotieros out of their barracks. They can go champions. They can even go hussars. So it's really not bad. It's just one of those situations where it's like most of the units that Italians make are either not quite as high up there on the list as other civs units, or you just can't get to them quite as easily. I don't know if that's the best way to explain it, but for a game that has 39 civilizations, I do think Italians are actually pretty good on land maps. And in particular, and this is coming from experience because the other day I did this against Casva, I think that upping faster to the next age needs to be taken advantage of more. You don't want to play Italians like a civ that has to spend the same old resources to go up to the next age. So let's see what RMKU does. If we're talking RMKU, we're normally talking a lot of monks, castle drops, and fast Imperials. We're not talking about a player who likes his crazy economy. All right. What's up, Kim? It says, how do you like streaming on Facebook so far? Good. Not bad. I've really enjoyed it. It's very relaxed. We've had high viewer numbers, like mid viewer numbers, low viewer numbers, mix of everything. I really like streaming for as long as I did on Twitch. Obviously, we hit some like crazy numbers and a lot of things that I'm really proud of. And anytime I'm streaming, I wish every person who knew I existed was watching. That's how it is as a streamer. That's not how it works, but that's kind of your mindset, right? But the whole, like, a lot of the motivating factors as a streamer is very draining after a while, right? Trying to constantly push for the next viewer or the next sub, or, you know, push another hour or stream the next event. It's just like constant. And then after a while, you know, you hit all these goals and you hit all these numbers, and then you like look at yourself in the mirror and you're like, oh crap, I exist. Like, wow, oh shoot, I actually didn't prioritize my mental health or my physical health in any way for the last 6 years. I probably should have remembered about myself, you know? And so at least that's how it was for me. So obviously this deal, there's many reasons for it, right? Like a new challenge, which I really needed. Also something that will allow me to have more longevity in doing what I love. But one of the other things, one of the big things, is just being able to be more relaxed and being able to focus on me a little more, you know? And I hope that doesn't come off in any way selfish, but I'll be honest, there's been a bit of an identity crisis. I'm still trying to get used to, you know, that type of an outlook on life. But yeah, so it's been good so far. And I think also, like, I'm never going to be, like, we have a solid amount of people here right now, right? But even if like 10 people were showing up, I'm not going to lie, it would hurt if only 10 people showed up to watch streams. But at the end of the day, it's people who really want to be here and people who are positive about it and people who are happy, right? And that's, what more can I ask for? So, anyways, the spiel comes out because we have Arena. I feel like at this point, because we're casting so much Arena on the channel, I should have like a story to tell or something motivating or demotivating, something to talk about in those moments. But Dark Noob is not going for the build that I'd mentioned in Dark Age. He's actually just going to go for kind of a standard fast castle play, so he didn't rush his eco upgrades. And he's going to go for an archer range and a blacksmith. Not at all a bad build order. He is still going to be faster to the castle age, but it's not the one I'd mentioned, just so you know, in case you're confused. And there he goes. So, at the same time, though, this is a really good build order from Aremku. And I don't think he'd be able to pull off this uptime if he wasn't Italian. Maybe he could, but he didn't have to sell a stone to go up at this time. This is actually a build order where he's mining stone to drop a castle. And so, every time you think castle drop, you think denying resource, or you think that unit within the castle must be very strong. But I think there's a follow-up logic you need to have with castle drops, and we'll talk about it. I think RMQ is going to try and use that. Because the Genoese crossbow is a unit which is supposed to be good against cavalry. So you don't necessarily want to make Genoese crossbowmen in this matchup, because Malay actually have really sucky cav. And if you're comparing it to a crossbow, it's not that much better than a crossbow. You're dropping a castle to make a unit which is at best a little better than a crossbow, and it just doesn't normally seem worth it. But anyways, let's pay attention. We're gonna have double monastery here from RMQ. You see lots of monks on this map, and we do not have the normal counter to that out and about. We actually have archers for Dark Noob. This is a little unorthodox for Arena. I'd say 75% of the time. Let's say 76% of the time, to be more exact. With our math, Spirit of the Law gets upset with me when I'm not. I'd say you tend to see scouts in light cav. Remku runs over here, and he just missed the archer range. He knows that this scout will eventually die. He just wanted to see what the enemy was doing. That's funny, man. Dark Noob has probably played enough arena games where he knows the spacing, but you can't make that up. Look at that. Oh, God. This is why I love Age 2, man. It's like all the tiny little specifics. Anyways, here's Dark Noob, and Dark Noob runs over here, and Dark Noob sees one monastery. But he also knows it's our Mku, so he's probably like, he's probably got at least 2. I also love what our Mku did there. He healed his scout, and that way it's on full HP. And let's see if our Mku reacts here. Okay, he sees the archers now. So now he's got to think, oh boy, this could be a little bit of an issue for my monks. But monks have 9 range. Crossbows will only have a maximum of 7. And now there's 2 scouts here. So far, so okay-ish, I guess, for Mku. I mean, he gets 1 relic. He gets a scout. Woo, yay. But over here, you'll have Dark Noob on a 2nd TC. And remember, since Melee spend less time researching the next age, that's more time they're creating vills. And that's why that vill lead exists there. Plus, we'll have 3 town centers, so this is just going to be better eco for Melee. And then both civs have pretty good archers. It's just not really a situation where I'd be feeling very comfortable if I were a Remku. He tries to get away with this relic. Monk could actually escape. And I think the monk will escape here. Okay. Yeah, Jono, thank you, man. I appreciate you guys. Like, I think the big thing is with anything in life, if you disagree with someone, or even if you don't really understand someone or why they do something or why they say something or why they are the way they are, I think as long as like how you express yourself, it's not what you say or what you feel, it's how you express it. I think that's the most important thing, right? And so unfortunately on the internet, there can be some really, really strong negativity. Yep. And I experienced a lot of that when I made the decision, and I probably could have done a better job expressing myself, right? But for the most part, man, everyone's been really positive, and I appreciate that. Believe me, I have like a very strong vision for my future, and I am very surprised. When I was 18 and they were like, what's your 10-year plan? I did not expect to be sitting here right now. But I have a pretty strong idea of how I see things in the long term, and I know what's best for the long term, trust me, so... Okay, now this is great. Dark Noob is booming it up, and he just wants relics. He's like, 3 TCs, crossbows, monks, and relics. If I do that, I win the game, just like every other arena game. And our Mku's like, that's funny. I'm going to walk forward because half your army's out of position, and I am going to drop a castle on your face. And actually, not only that, convert some of the crossbows and will then kill crossbows with the crossbows. And this is suddenly something that Dark Noob has to respect a little bit. So, this is what we call our Mku Eco. I'm going to rewind because I was blabbing my mouth and I want you guys to see what Arena Eco looks like, okay? Okay. At 21 minutes, 41 seconds, our Mku has 121 on food and 7 farms. Now, if you had like basic Age of Empires knowledge and you knew how much it was to go Imperial Age and you didn't know a market existed, you would say... Oh, okay, so this guy's going to drop a forward castle, he's going to go for a siege push, and he can't do anything else. Now watch what he does. Watch what he does. The market is busted. He buys a bunch of food, he's probably going to sell a bunch of his wood, and it's cheaper for him to go imp. I think it's like 830 food, 660 gold. Does anyone know the exact cost for imp with Italians? Anyways... Did I say he has 121 on food? You know what I meant. He had 121 food in the bank. Jeez. And he sells some stone as well because he figures I've got 1 castle. This is fine. And now he's on his way up. And what do arena players that don't have a lot of food eco do? They make a lot of monks. Now this is where it gets fun. Because a monk has 9 range, okay? A crossbow has 7 range. But a monk with block printing in the Imperial Age has 12 range. So monks absolutely destroy crossbows. The only thing that you should say, though, is that crossbows are a lot easier to control because they automatically attack. Whereas with the monks, you have to, like, click individual targets. And there was an upload with our Mku against Shades, I think. It was the Fatoria Saves the Day one that was on YouTube last week, which is a great game, by the way. But spoilers, one person couldn't monk micro too well. It's also 100 gold a pop for these units, so it's not like they're cheap. And it's 61 villagers versus 43, so there should be, in theory, more units on the map for Dark Noob. Now, Dark Noob, I think, has realized the situation. He sees forward castle. He knows who he's up against. I think he knows now that this is going to be a monk play, so he's going for light cav. What's tricky here is that Malay do not get the Castle Age armor on their light cav. So their light cav are actually very, very weak. But making light cav against monks is the proper play here. And even the tower was actually pretty strong. Look at that. He's just shot down a monk. So the best thing you can do is not go imp here. Because if you try and go imp, even if you're Malay, it's going to take too many resources and too much time. And then they're going to just push you. So I think the best thing you do is stay in Castle Age, make a bunch of Castle Age army, and try and push back the monks. Because you don't actually need imp army to kill monks. Okay, we have Illumination on the way, Block Printing on the way, and Theocracy on the way. Fun fact, by the way, those are always the 3 upgrades you want to get immediately with monks in imp. I know Block Printing gives you +3 range, but I always forget the difference between Illumination and Theocracy. And the reason I forget is because they're both necessary. So I don't even know what they do, right? Well, I know as a whole what you want. You want +3 range. You want 1 monk within your group to rest after conversion. And then, shoot, I actually forget the other aspect of it. This is embarrassing. Wait, okay, you have 1 monk rest after conversion. And then does the other one increase the rate at which your monk juice comes back, like your faith? I think so, but I forget which is which. Anyways, we're going to have a castle here in Dark Noob season, and look at the monks! Look at that! These guys are crazy with their monks. Are you kidding me? He now has more crossbows than Dark Noob has crossbows. In come the light cav, though. They'll go in for the monks. Like, that's what I'm talking about. Players who can control monks well are insane. I would have lost all my monks and my castle wouldn't complete. But he actually gets away with this, and all that army from Dark Noob is not going to be enough to stop the castle. So 46 villagers now for Aremku, 87 for Dark Noob. Dark Noob is now crossbow rushing. Or no, he's not. Sorry, I mean he was trying to, but now it's Aremku who has crossbows. That's so sick. Basically, you set each monk to a control group all the way up to 9, and then you just select different targets, but it's so difficult to do. And Aremku says, hey, I think I'm going to take these relics. Thanks for the donation. Appreciate that. And he runs in here, and he's immediately next to a lot of production buildings. So with Redemption, if he wanted to, he could convert the buildings. But more than anything, he just wants to push that castle. As we see Karambits. And this is the value you can get from monks, right? Because they can get conversions, but then they can recharge, and they can get more conversions after that. So the Karambits come in, and all Dark Noob wants to do is buy time. He wants to take out the Trebs, and... Okay, I'm happy for him. He ends up getting 2 of the Trebs. However, he can't take this gold right now. He's actually completely out of gold. He cannot take any gold right now. I mean, Karambits aren't going to work then. Unless he's able to clear this right now, I don't think Karambits are going to work. He is going to get Forging this time. He's trying to mass Karambits. I feel like Karambit's one of the worst units to convert, though, right? Because it's such a low HP unit. But I guess you have no choice here. Well, now you've got some crossbows to work with and your own Karambits as a meat shield. There's 13 monks. The game tells me there's 26 military for Dark Noob. Interesting. Also, what's attacking what right now? Oh, it's the Karambits attacking the blacksmith. It had a weird noise to it. Guys, Aremku's been all in 1 TC this entire game. Look at his eco. That eco, it bothers me. I can't even look at it and take it seriously. Like, maybe Dark Noob should have stables, but he's kind of run out of space. It's very cramped, and here he goes. Here he goes. He's going to dive in here with the Karambits. There's 3 Trebs. He needs to keep that castle alive. If the castle dies, his TC will go down. Everything's going to go down. There's monks galore clicking and converting. We're not seeing too many red Karambits, but we do see some, Genoese crossbowmen mixed in. And the question is this going to be enough for Aremku? Because Dark Noob has more vills. Dark Noob has 40 more vills. If all the monks get cleared, and they are getting cleared right now, if all the monks get cleared, Dark Noob could actually win this. The monks are healing as well. It's very tricky, but okay, the Karambit's worked well here. If you consider the cost of a Karambit warrior and the cost of a monk, this definitely has worked well. But I think that that's a mistake from Aremku. I think he should have backed away to the castle. Because the castles will own the Karambits. I think when you start to see you're losing monks there, you should back up. Anyways, there's going to be more monks on the field. We could see more Genoese crossbowmen as well. Odd Canero is in. And Genoese crossbowmen have 6 base attack, whereas a regular crossbowman has 5. So it's actually pretty good against a Karambit warrior. I think with maybe like 10 or 15 Genoese crossbowmen, with some monks, you could be fine here. Now we'll see some light cap, but I think the main issue for Dark Noob is he doesn't have freaking space for buildings right now. Like, he can't fit a couple stables back here. And it's just non-stop production of monks and Genoese crossbow. And when you're playing on Arena against this type of a player, you don't have time to think. Meanwhile, a lot of villagers are queued up for Dark Noob because he knows that's his bonus here. But maybe he should be spending that food. I think him queuing up that many villagers probably comes back to the fact that he's really panicked. Because for me, what I do is it's Q vills, Q military, control military, and just constantly do that. All right, let's see how these Genoese do. Now check it out. We're going to see monks get some conversions here. I think the Treb goes down. But don't the Genoese crossbowmen just wreck everything once Bracer's in? 6 plus 3. A Karambit warrior only has 30 HP. And there's no world where Dark Noob can ever go in. And also, he's going to try and mass Light Cav, but Genoese crossbowmen counter the Light Cav. Because they have that bonus. So, like, so many monks died and they just keep coming out here. This is nuts. Also, convert that archery range and get Thumb Ring. Yeah. I'm acting as if he's going to have the food eco to get Thumb Ring. But come on, get Thumb Ring out of the archery range. Flex on him. All right, Light Cab pop out. I wish I had a stat on how many monks died in this game. I think it's upwards of 20. 2,000 gold just down the drain, but RMQ doesn't care. We're going to see Dark Noob try and mass skirmishers as well, which I think is a good play. He also has gotten a lot of the upgrades for it as well, but he needs to keep that castle up. And just like before, he's going to run in. He's going to take the trap. Now I think he runs. Yep, I think you should get out of here. Now, an upgrade you really need if you're RMQ is he's just going to buy stone for a castle here. Is ballistics, but he doesn't really have the eco set up for that. So, you know, guess no ballistics in this game for him. And just constant conversion sounds, man. And okay, here come Light Cav. Here comes Skirms. Elite Skirm comes in. This is the timing for Dark Noob. 35 military for both. But the monks can change things. They can change some of this. They can change the minds of the military and make them switch sides. The Treb goes down. We've said that a lot. Just like the monks. Monks and Trebs are stupid expensive, but it doesn't matter. Dark Noob is pressed into the back of his base, and Dark Noob resigns with more population than Aremku. 30 population more than Aremku. What a ridiculous game, dude. Like that, I would never be able to win with that. That's what gets me, is like, I would lose the 20 monks that he lost here, and I would just get pushed back. I think it's just commitment. How he's able to do that stuff is crazy to me. And it's only possible on Arena. This is why I say, like, I don't particularly love to play Arena. Because unfortunately, my games never turn into this. Granted, I never play against Aremku, so maybe... Now, you know what? I'll pass. Even if it goes to YouTube, I know which side I'm going to be on when it comes to winning or losing. But yeah, like, I don't know. Since on Arena, you value those stone walls and you feel comfortable behind your stone walls, these all-in pushes are able to get you. As we look at the resources collected, well, there's the KD first off, and there's the timeline. I mean, the timeline shows with the dark and the light color, the eco and the military. Yeah, Dark Noob had so much wood and food collected, but for Aremku, it was all about gold and all about stone. And if he needed any food, he would just buy it. Obviously, that is really bad over the long term, and it's really bad on a more open map. Because on a more open map, the player can pick their spots and they can move around and use mobility. But on Arena, the pressure is right in your face all the time, and you need to react to it. At low elo, people just resign when I show up to their gate with 20 monks. Yeah, they've probably seen the videos. They've probably seen the videos, Sir Walrus. But yeah, okay, so let's talk about this a little bit more. That was a crazy game. Again, I just never win there. But I just love how RMKU didn't try and play the meta against a Civ that is understood as a good meta Civ, right? Like, if he tries to go compete for the relics with archers or light cav and goes up towards imp, I think Melee are faster to imp. Melee have more eco, and then Melee probably take all control. So he just switched it up a little bit. I love the recognition when he saw the crossbows from Dark Noob to say, hey, I can run out across the map. Because what I would have done, because remember, he had 1,000 stone in the bank, right? So he clearly wanted to go forward. I think what I would have done is I never would have gone forward, and I would have just placed the first castle at home. Because there were crossbows out there. I would just think, oh, there's no way. But he just waited. And he waited so long that Dark Noob never expected a castle would come up. If a castle drop happens, a castle drop's going to happen at the start of Castle Age. So, whew. Anyways, GG. That was a crazy game. Really curious to see if more people are facing up against these strategies now that we've had more on the YouTube channel recently. Well played to RMKU. I hope I never queue up against him again, especially on Arena, but crazy, crazy player.